And joining us here today, we have Jenna Finch. She is the Agriculture Affairs Manager at Midwest Dairy. Jenna, great to have you on the show with us here today. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me today.
Well, we appreciate your time and we want to learn more about the Dairy Experience and Agricultural Leadership Program. I believe this is an 18-month program created by Midwest Dairy. Just to start, Jenna, can you give us a little background, a little bit of a definition on the DEAL program?
Yeah, you bet. I'm happy to do that. So, our Dairy Experience and Agricultural Leadership Program, we more commonly refer to it as DEAL just to make it a little bit shorter. But, like you said, it's an 18-month leadership development program for young dairy farmers in Midwest Dairy's region. The program is broken into three different phases over that 18-month time period. And through the program, dairy farmers learn more about dairy checkoff. They gain a deeper understanding of how we're using checkoff resources to build sales and trust for dairy. They learn how to engage with consumers. And then also there's networking opportunities with their peers, other dairy farmers, and then industry leaders too. And we are on Deal Class 2 now.
Well, tell me a little bit more. You mentioned there's a couple different phases. Can you give us a few, maybe, of just the specifics of what those phases are and what young dairy farmers will go through with the deal program?
You bet. So, phase one, which took place earlier this year for Deal Class 2 in February, we went to Denver, Colorado, and we stayed in the dairy block of downtown Denver, which was kind of a fun tie for our Deal group. But that meeting focuses on who am I and who is Midwest Dairy. So, that's really the theme for that meeting. And we kicked off our meeting with a color personality assessment just to learn more about our strengths, our talents, and how we can use those when working with others. And that was a great way to kind of break the ice. You know, it's a new group of farmers. We got to learn each other, learn more about each other, and get to
Mhm.
know each other just a little bit better. So that was a great way to start our meeting. And that was on the first day. And then through the next 2 days, we learned more about dairy checkoff. We dove into Midwest Dairy's history, the history of dairy promotion, what checkoff is, and how Midwest Dairy is using checkoff resources to again build sales and trust for dairy on their behalf. And then we also learned a little bit more about dairying in Colorado from Bill Keating with Dairy Max came and joined us to share more about that and what Dairy Max is doing in their region to build sales and trust for dairy too. And being in Denver, we reached out to Leprino Foods to see if they would come and meet with our deal farmers. And we
Mhm.
were lucky enough to have a Leprino representative come to share more about Leprino. And that was a great learning experience and an opportunity to meet a dairy industry leader through that presentation too. And also, as a part of this meeting, we like to have the dairy farmers provide presentations to share more about who they are, what their farm, what they do on their farm, their role on the farm, and just who they are as a person outside
Mhm.
of dairy. So that's another great fun way to meet each other in the group and also practice their public speaking skills as well. So there's kind of a dual purpose for that part of the program. And then
Sure.
we did have two representatives from Dairy Management Inc. come in for this phase as well to dive into, Dairy Management Inc., the history of dairy promotion on a national level, their partnerships, and then also the collaborative relationship between Dairy Management Inc. and Midwest Dairy. So
Mhm.
a lot of information around dairy checkoff, but that's some feedback I got from the dairy farmers that from that meeting is they really enjoyed those conversations. They felt they learned a lot, and so they appreciated having that opportunity to learn more. So there was
Mhm.
a lot of excitement after deal phase one, and we met for deal phase two in August. So just a couple months ago, when we went to Chicago, Illinois, and for that phase, we focused on connecting with consumers. That was the theme for the meeting. So everything tied back to that theme. And we kicked
Mhm.
off that meeting with an engage training, which is provided by the Center for Food Integrity. And it helps farmers connect with consumers on shared values. And then we also took a deeper dive on social media, how to engage with consumers on social media. And we had Don Schindler with Dairy Management Inc. come in and do some workshops on video editing tools they can use to create content for their social channels, branding. We dove into that and why it's important for you and your farm, and just some things to consider when you're branding. And then also how to answer tough questions online. That was a big piece of that training that day, too. So again, a lot
Mhm.
of discussion around connecting with consumers online and in person. And also as a part of this meeting, we did tour Bell Brands USA headquarters, which is a great opportunity to hear from them and learn more about Bell Brands, And then we also heard from Good Sport founder and CEO Michelle McBride, and another wonderful opportunity to learn more about their product and their story.
Sure.
And we ended the meeting, we rounded out the meeting with presentations from Midwest Dairy staff in the Chicago area to share what they're doing in their categories of work to build sales and trust and different activations and the results they're seeing too. So another great way to share what we're doing on their behalf to build sales and trust for dairy. And I cannot forget to say we do have fun at these. We try to incorporate some fun into these meetings too. In phase one, we went to Top Golf. It was a little chilly, but the group handled it with grace, and we had a lot of fun. And again, just a fun icebreaker to get to know each other. And then, in the meetings going forward, they were able to, talk back about Top Golf. So that was a great opportunity as well. And then in Chicago, we spent a lot of time. There's a lot of stuff to do in Chicago. So we wanted to have free
Yeah.
time to just walk around, explore. We did have a river cruise just to learn more about the architecture and history of Chicago. So again,
Yeah.
we try to have some fun in between learning opportunities as well.
Fantastic.
And then
Fantastic.
the final phase is phase three, which will take place in July of 2023. So we're still very much in the planning of that, but that phase will focus on Midwest Dairy leadership and media. So as a part of that meeting, we'll attend part of a corporate board meeting to, network with the corporate board members and learn more about our regional governance structure as well. We think that's a great learning opportunity for them to see that in action. And then we'll also have media training as a part of that phase. And I'm excited to reach out to the deal farmers to get their feedback on some other topics they're wanting, since again, I'm still in the planning phase. And we really want this program to meet their needs. So I'm excited to hear some of the ideas they share back with me.
Well, now I should ask Jenna, with the deal program, thinking of the checkoff dollars for dairy farmers, why is the program, why would you say it's a valuable use of dairy farmers' checkoff dollars?
Great question. So our deal program gives us an opportunity to bring together unique, emerging young dairy leaders from across our region and provide them with skills that they're wanting to take back to their farm and to their community. When the farmers apply, I asked him, why do you want to be a part of the program? And a lot of the feedback I get is, we want to be advocates for the dairy industry. We want to work on our dairy promotion in our local communities. And they come to us to our deal program because they see that's a benefit of being involved in the program and gaining some of those advocacy skills. And then also a lot of the farmers want to just know more about Midwest Dairy and Dairy Checkoff. So that's a huge piece of the deal program. And again, bringing them together to have that opportunity to engage with Midwest Dairy and learn what we're doing with their investment into Checkoff. And then lastly, the networking piece is huge. I think in agriculture and industry, right, it's great to learn from others across our industry, but especially with the deal program, learning from other dairy farmers, aside from some of the skills we learned, but also, what they're doing on their farm and how they, can improve on their farm as well. So those connections are really critical. And we're just excited that this deal program can bring this group together to provide those skills, advocacy skills and leadership skills that they can take back home and apply to their farm and their communities.
Jen, I should also ask about the consumer side of this. You mentioned you're working on building consumer confidence and consumer trust. Have you seen any response from consumers to deal participant engagements?
Yeah, so actually, as a part of our deal program, we have two homework assignments. And the homework assignment after phase two, so they're currently working on it right now, is to participate in a consumer facing event that Midwest Dairy is involved in. And we just had 3 Minnesota deal farmers earlier this month participate in a virtual farm tour for 40 graduate students that were seeking degrees in sustainability and public health. And the feedback was really positive. The students really enjoyed hearing from the farmers on their, the sustainability practices they're using and how they take care of their cows. They had really great feedback and just appreciated being able to hear from a farmer and having those conversations. And actually, one of the students on the survey said, after talking to the farmers and learning more, I feel better about buying dairy products. And that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
exactly what we want. That's the type of reaction that we're hoping when a consumer meets any dairy farmer, our deal farmers and all dairy farmers too. So we were really excited to see those results, and I'm excited to see what our other deal farmers do. But again, we're just so thrilled to see that our deal farmers are using the skills that we have shared through the different phases of the deal program to this point and really helping them with their advocacy efforts.
Well, fantastic, Jenna. And I'm sure if folks want to learn more about the dairy checkoff and the program and everything that Midwest Dairy is up to, I'd have to think starting online, MidwestDairy.com might be a good place to start.
You bet. Yes, I encourage any interested farmers to go to MidwestDairy.com. It's under the For Farmers tab. You can learn more about our deal program, and we will be recruiting for Deal Class 3 next fall. So, again, if anyone is interested in applying, I encourage them to come check out our page, especially next year.
Well, fantastic. With that, Jenna Finch, Agriculture Affairs Manager at Midwest Dairy. Appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us. We'll hopefully talk to you again real soon.
Yeah, thank you for having me.